Hello and welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host tonight, Logan Landers. And joining me to talk about the Oregon Ducks 2021 team preview is my fellow co-host of the Unscripted Sports Podcast. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, BS3 Radio. Hey, go check us out. Give us some love. We talk about a lot of things. It's my guy, the man with the best beard in all of the USA, Jay McLovin. What's going on, Jay?
Hey, what's up, Logan? It's good to be here, ready to talk some college football and these Oregon Ducks and their crazy unis.
Yes, sir. They do have some wild uniforms. But hey, before we start talking about the Ducks and their amazing uniforms, be sure you guys, if you enjoy this video, to like, comment, share, and subscribe, whether you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Also, go check out our podcast, where we just recently hit over 1,000 downloads for this month. Thank you guys so much for downloading that, whether you're listening to us at work, doing some workouts, or just hanging out at the house. Thank you guys so much for doing that. It means the world to us. So, Jay, let's get into this one, man, because we're talking a little bit before we went on air about this Oregon team, and we've got some pretty high hopes for them. Tell the people what you think about this team going into 2021.
Well, Logan, last year they were supposed to be a playoff team. They were. They wound up settling for the Fiesta Bowl, but they were geared up and ready to go for the playoffs, man. They set their bar incredibly high, and it just didn't happen for them. And I'm looking at some of their stat numbers, and honestly, they gave up. Let's see, this they were supposed to be. They had 413 yards a game and 31 points per game. So they had incredible offensive production. The defense was a little bit lacking, and that's kind of where they started to fumble last year. But honestly, underneath Anthony Brown and his leadership as quarterback, they were doing quite well. And honestly, I think that they have a great future ahead of them. But what they did, and the expectations of where they fell last year was just incredibly short. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for Oregon, they do have a good program. They did fall a little bit short last year, but I mean, with everything surrounding just the world this time last year, it was wild though. And I think Oregon, they're loaded up. They're ready to come into 2021, ready to potentially, get into that top four in the college football playoff. So we'll see how they can rock with that. But they got some good pieces on their team. And I mean, looking at their schedule too, they're facing a few tough teams, but overall, it's a very winnable schedule. Like you said, we're talking, we think this team could get double-digit wins, 10, maybe 11 wins. And, I mean, looking at a few of the tough teams they're facing, of course, they're facing Ohio State week 2. That's a tough one. Come on, it's Ohio State. They've been in the college football playoff seemingly feels like every single year since it's been in fruition. So, I mean, that's obviously going to be the first test they got. They face a good amount of teams. I see Arizona, Stanford, Washington, Colorado. So, I mean, it's a very easy – I wouldn't say easy, but it's a schedule that they should win the vast majority of their games. What do you think about their schedule this year?
Oh, it's winnable. It's absolutely unequivocally winnable. I mean, like I said to you earlier, Ohio State is the make or break game. Let's be honest. That whole schedule – The biggest one, the biggest competitive person that they're playing is Ohio State. Not that some of these other teams can't, come up with an upset. I'm not saying it can't happen, but the one that's a make or break is Ohio. If they lose Ohio, it doesn't matter what they do the rest of the series. They could go 12-1, and that one loss being to Ohio and still not make the playoffs because their schedule's just not competitive enough.
Right.
The strength of schedule it doesn't warrant that.
Mm-hmm. And I think the key for me this year, because like I said, they only played in, I believe, 7 games last year. So not, you got a very small sample size with the Pac-12 teams. They didn't play nearly as much as all the other conferences. So First off, they're just ready to get playing a full schedule once more. I know the coaches and the players are excited for that. And I think that the offense is really going to need to step up. They're really going to have to show what you can do and what you're, how they're going to improve this year. So is Anthony Brown going to be your guy? Yeah. You don't know. Who's going to be that QB that's leading you into the future? For me, I think it is Brown's job to lose. He's done very good at Oregon. And, I mean, he's got a good core around him with his wide receivers and tight ends. So they've got a lot of talent on that offensive side of the ball. It's just how are you going to prove it this year? What can you do? And I think the one key, though, Jay, is you just lost the best offensive lineman in the NFL draft with Penei Sewell. That is a crushing blow. Hey, first off, shout out to the Detroit Lions. You picked up a great guy. We just talked about him earlier today. So, that is killer. Obviously, we know what Sewell did at Oregon. Didn't allow a sack in his entire tenure there. So, who's going to step up? They got some good guys, but who is really going to have to step up, and who is going to take over on that O-line for Oregon? We'll have to see. What you think about this program, man? Who do you got your eyes on for this Duck squad?
Well, first of all, I do want to point out that losing Penei Sewell obviously was a big thing, probably one of the biggest things. But they do have all 5 starters coming back, minus Penei Sewell. They do have most of their offensive line coming back, and they did pave the way for 167 rushing yards per game. So I do think that the core group is there for them, and I think Anthony Brown will be the guy. But I think the backs. I think obviously on offense, them backs are going to have to continuously run again. And Travis Dye and CJ Verdell are back, and they're the best 1-2 punch in the nation right now. And I would look for that, because along with Anthony, he needs to take off as well in terms of the passing game. But that running game is probably what that offense is mostly going to lean upon. And that best 1-2 punch under Verdell and Dye, I think, is going to be what I would look for in the offense. I think it's probably the biggest strength they have outside of their O-line.
Yeah, I think that those guys are definitely, like you said, they're a really good punch in college football. I think the thing for me that Oregon needs to work on for the offensive side of the ball is you got to limit turnovers. They fumbled the ball way too much last year. They fumbled the ball a lot in just 7 games too. So
they fumbled 10 times.
Right, yeah. So, 10 times in 7 games, you can't have that. So, if you can work on that, though, like you said, you got a really good offense. You got good running backs, a solid wide receiving core, a good QB. So, I think the offense is fine. Like you said, they're bringing back all 5 starters from the bowl game because, like we said, Sewell didn't play in the bowl game. He was resting up for the draft. So, they're getting guys who have had some experience on the team. So, I think overall the offense is set and locked and loaded coming into 2021. Let's talk about the defense, though. A guy I got my eyes on is obviously you got to look at Kayvon Thibodeau. Man. He is going to be a monster one day. I've seen some people talking about it. He might be a top 10, top 15 draft pick once he decides to leave Eugene, Oregon and head on to the NFL. And he's been absolutely tremendous for Oregon. So we'll see how much better he can do, man. Because in 2 seasons, he's got 77 tackles, 12 sacks, and one thing I like to see, he's got 23 and a half tackles for losses. Yeah. So this guy absolutely is just a threat on either, because he's a combo, man. He can either be on the D line or he can play linebacker. He can do whatever you need this guy to do. But he's definitely my key for the defensive side of the ball this year. Who you got your eyes on in terms of defense if you got someone over there?
The Ducks are running that 3-4 now. So, again, I still kind of look at – there's ways you can look at it. Thibodeau, like you said, is a great one.
That's the one.
I guess I'm probably looking – I would probably look at the defensive line second – or no, actually, you know what? I'm going to look at Vernon McKinley. I think that's the one I'm looking at for that secondary. He led the team in tackles with 41 last year. So, I think, you're going to have that good safety spot in order to back up that 3-4 defense. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking at him. I'm definitely looking at Vernon McKinley, the safety tackle, in their secondary.
Yeah, and I think that overall, just to kind of wrap things up here real soon, I think Oregon's going to have a good season, Jay. I really do. I think last year was kind of a flop. Like you said, they were supposed to be competing, trying to get into the national championship, only playing 7 games. That's going to be hard to do. They went 4-3 last year. We both agree that this team should win double digits this year, 10, 11 wins. Like I said, the real test is going to be against Ohio State, who we're going to be talking about in a little bit, man. Ohio State is that bar for them. Can you get past them?
Another thing too, Logan, is I'll tell you right now, they don't have a very big bodied lineman. Like 285, right. 290. Popo Umave. He's like 285 pounds. And Brandon Dorius, is around the 290, or excuse me, he's 290, and Brandon Dorius is around 285. They have one 300-pounder, 6'6" freshman, Jason Jones. But truthfully, they have a very undersized defensive lineman. So, you know, their linemen are going to have to step up against the bigger offensive tackles and offensive guards and tackles.
All right. Yeah, go get you a second dinner for that D-line. Go get some of that, and they'll bulk up real quick.
They're going to have to, I tell you, because some of them guys on offense are going to be a lot bigger than they are. So they're going to have to definitely be quicker. That's one thing for sure. They have a better technique, and they're going to have to be a lot quicker to outmaneuver those offensive linemen and push them around.
Yes, sir. Hey, it remains to be seen how this Ducks team is going to perform. We got high hopes for them. I think they're definitely going to be – I can see a top 15 program this year, no doubt about that. I definitely see them getting into the top 15. They got a good program. I see them competing for the Pac-12 championship. So I think that I don't know if they're going to be in contention for the college football playoff. I think they're going to be near it, though. But I don't know if they're going to get it quite yet. I think that they're just outside of all the, amazing teams that are going to be vying for that spot. I just don't know, especially with the loss of Penei Sewell, and like you said, with the undersized of the D-line. Man, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to get to that top 4 yet. But I think that they're going to have a good season. I think Oregon's going to, keep having a good record. And I'm expecting double-digit wins from this program. So, hey, if you guys have enjoyed this video here tonight, first off, thank you guys so much for tuning in, whether you're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Thanks for liking, commenting, and sharing. It's all Facebook groups you guys are a part of. It means the world to us. Also, please go out and check out the podcast we are on. Hey, type in 100 Yards of Football, whether you're on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or anywhere you consume your podcast listening habits. We are over there. Like I said, we just hit over 1,000 downloads for the month of June. So thank you guys so much for doing that and downloading and, hey, liking our show. I mean, it's the world to us knowing that you guys are listening to us and that we're putting out good content. Hey, so for my co-host tonight, Jay McLovin, thank you so much, man, for coming on, talking some Oregon Ducks football. I've been your host, Logan Landers. Hey, guys, stay tuned because we got another great team preview coming up